Good evening aspirants, welcome to daily editorial analysis of Shankar IAS Academy. Today's date is 30th January 2025. These are the two important editorial articles we are going to discuss in this video. The first article is about India-China relationship and how the India-China relationship ascended after 1998 and what are the challenges in the relationship, what can be done to improve the India-China relationship. So this is what we are going to discuss in this article. The next article is about bridging the milk divide for a nutritionally secure India. This article talks about the challenges in milk accessibility and milk consumption in India, what are the regional variations in milk consumption in India, and basic things about the White Revolution and National Dairy Development Board. So these are the two important editorial articles we are going to discuss in this video. Now let us get into the discussion. Now look at this article. The article talks about the recent improvement in India-China relations but raises many doubts regarding how long this good relationship will last. The article also explains that both countries have built their relationship through diplomacy, but recent border clashes have created a major distrust between the two countries. On economic front, India and China depend on each other. India imports many Chinese goods and China also have many investments in India. But China faces many trade restrictions from Western nations, particularly US, and it benefits only from Indian market. However, despite these good economic ties, military tensions between the two countries have been a major point of contention. Politically, both nations are also have to be careful about US because US is a major trading partner for both countries, and India and China must also navigate their ties while dealing with their own strategic concerns. So these are the things which are discussed in this news article. In this context, let us discuss about the basics of India-China relationship, particularly after Rajiv Gandhi period. India and China have a complex relationship which is shared by diplomacy, economic ties, border tensions, and strategic competition for the regional power. Now let's break down the India-China relationship after 1998 step by step. From 1988 to 2019, this period have seen many engagement and confidence building between the two nations. Since Rajiv Gandhi's visit to China in 1988, both countries focused on improving the relationship through diplomacy and many agreements. If you see in 1993 and 1996, both nations signed agreements to maintain the peace along the LAC, line of actual control. This line of actual control is a disputed border between India and China. So both nations have agreed to maintain peace along the line of actual control from 1993. Then later in 2003, India officially recognized Tibet as a part of China, and in turn, China accepted Sikkim as a part of India. So the diplomatic relationship between both countries have been very good during this time. Later in 2005, both countries signed a strategic partnership agreement which strengthened the political and economic ties between both nations. In 2008 to 2019 period, economic cooperation between the two nations grew significantly and China became the India's largest trading partner during this period. But after 2019, the ties between the both countries have started to become a point of contention because of border clashes and strategic interests between the both nations. The major border clashes took place in 2017 as a Doklam standoff. India and China faced off over the Bhutanese territory. So this brought tensions to a new level. Then in Galwan clash of 2020, a deadly border conflict in Ladakh which led to death of 20 Indian soldiers, and this marked a serious clash since 1962 war. Ongoing military standoff between the two countries have increased the troop presence along the line of actual control, and this has also led to the continued disengagement talks. After this incidents, India has banned Chinese apps and also tightened the foreign direct investment rules for Chinese investments, and India also reduced its dependency on Chinese imports. On the other hand, India strengthened its ties with Quad nations, that is US, Japan, Australia and India, while China expanded its influence in South Asia and Indian Ocean region. Now let us see the four pillars of India-China relations since 1988. The four pillars were one is symmetry, next one is border negotiation, then confidence building measures, then people to people ties. So these are the four pillars of India-China relations since 1988, that is after Rajiv Gandhi period. Symmetry means the high level diplomatic meetings, and these regular meetings happened between India and China, and they play a crucial role in maintaining the communication and diplomatic efforts. For example, Wuhan Summit of 2018 and Mamallapuram Summit of 2019 focused on reducing the tension and increasing the cooperation between two nations. So these summits help to prevent the misunderstanding and promote economic and political engagement between the leaders of the countries. And next one is border negotiation. Both nations have engaged in bilateral talks to resolve the border disputes. For example, the 1993 and 1996 border peace agreements, which were signed between India and China to prevent the conflicts along the line of actual control. So border peace agreements and bilateral talks have held from 1993 to maintain the peace along this contentious border. Then confidence building measures. In order to prevent the military conflicts and standoffs, both countries introduced the confidence building measures to maintain the stability. In these conflict building measures, there are some policies like no use of force policy, military hotlines in order to prevent the accidental clashes, joint military clashes. However, the Galwan clash of 2022 showed that these measures had limitations and they failed to reach a lasting peace. Both countries have also tried to build the strong cultural and economic relations through people-to-people contact. The educational tourism exchanges, many Indian students study in China and Chinese business also invest in India. As we all know, China remains one of the biggest trading partners for India. Regarding the cultural diplomacy, India and China have a shared heritage in Buddhism, cinema and sports. But after 2020 border standoffs and clashes, the people-to-people ties weakened due to the rising tensions and economic restrictions. So this is about the 4 pillars of India-China relationship. Now let us see the measures to improve the India-China relation. The first one is strengthening the diplomatic dialogue. Expanding high-level summits like Wuhan Summit of 2018 and Mamallapuram Summit of 2019, and these summits can include mid-level officials and they can improve the communication between the leaders of the country. So strengthening the diplomatic dialogue through conducting more summits like Wuhan Summit. Then addressing the border dispute. Strengthening the past agreements like the border control agreement in 1993 with the technology-driven solutions can enhance the joint surveillance and also prevent the clashes. Thirdly, about economic and trade cooperation. Since China is a key trading partner for India, balancing the trade and reducing the trade deficit and also promoting the joint ventures can stabilize the economic relations. Then fourthly, about boosting the cultural and people-to-people engagement. Since after 2020 Galwan clashes, there were a weakening of people-to-people ties, and expanding the education and tourism and cultural exchanges can improve the public perception and mutual understanding between the two nations. So boosting the cultural and people-to-people engagement is also an important measure to strengthen the India-China relationship. India and China should cooperate in international forums like BRICS, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and they can talk about the global issues like climate change, public health and sustainability. So when the two countries cooperate in international forums, it can create trust between the leaders of the countries, and a mutual cooperation can happen through these international forums. Then about the regional security dialogues. The regional security dialogue on sensitive areas like Afghanistan, South China Sea issue and Indian Ocean security can prevent future conflicts. More often, the two countries should conduct the regular security dialogue meetings on the sensitive issues. So these are some of the measures that can be taken to improve the India-China relationship. And this is a main question regarding this topic. Interested aspirants can try to answer it and post it in the comment section. Now look at this article. India's milk consumption is highly unequal across various income groups, and it is highly unequal also along various regions. So this affects the nutrition security. So India's milk consumption is not uniform across India. It varies from many income groups and from many regions. So the article highlights the disparities, affordability and challenges in milk consumption and milk procurement. The article also discusses about the need for targeted interventions. So this is what we are going to discuss in this editorial article discussion. Firstly, let us look about the milk consumption disparity in India. The household in higher income groups consume 3 to 4 times more milk per capita than the lower income groups. So higher income groups consume 3 to 4 times more milk than lower income groups. The poorest 30% of households consume only 18% of milk. Urban areas also consume 30% more milk than the rural areas. Regional variations also exist. For example, Rajasthan, Punjab and Haryana consume over 300 gram milk per day. But states like Odisha, Chhattisgarh and West Bengal consume only 171 gram per day. So there is a variation across income groups and also across the regions of India. Now what are the challenges in accessibility of milk? First one is affordability. Affordability is a major issue. 70% of Indian households have to spend 10 to 30% of their monthly food expenses in order to meet their recommended monthly milk intake. So the 70% of household in India have to spend their 30% of monthly income for food in order to take the required amount of milk. Also, the urban households overconsume milk, leading to obesity and health issues. The social groups like scheduled tribes have the lowest milk consumption in India. So these are some of the important challenges in accessibility of milk. Now we are going to see about the macronutrients and micronutrients present in the milk. The high quality proteins like casein and whey protein support the muscle development and muscle repair and also helpful for muscle recovery. So this casein protein and whey protein are present in milk. So milk have high quality proteins and it is very essential for the muscle development and muscle recovery. Next is calcium. Calcium is essential for bone health and also for preventing osteoporosis. Milk also has vitamins like vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin B12 and these vitamins support the immune function and also helpful for active metabolism. Milk also has fats and these fats provide essential fatty acids necessary for the brain development. The lactose in the milk is a natural sugar which provides energy. So these are the important macro and micronutrients present in the milk and this shows that milk is very essential for daily consumption for everyone. Now let us see the impact of malnutrition and undernutrition due to the deficit in milk consumption. The lack of essential nutrients can lead to impaired growth in children and this is called as the stunted growth. The deficiencies of milk consumption can increase the susceptibility to infections. So it leads to weakened immunity. There is also cognitive impairment, which means lack of milk consumption or lack of nutrient consumption will affect the brain development and it also affects the learning abilities. The malnutrition can also lead to decreased productivity and increased healthcare costs. So these are some of the impacts of decreased milk consumption. Now let us see some of the key facts regarding the India's dairy sector. India ranks first in global milk production and it contributes 24% of total global milk production. Roughly around 230 million tons of milk produced in India and the per capita milk availability is 459 grams per day. This is higher than the global average of 323 grams per day. This is because India is the first in global milk production. The dairy sector contributes 5% to India's economy and it also supports 8 crore farmers, mostly women. So this is the importance of dairy sector. Now let us also revise about the white revolution and dairy industry in India. Varghese Kurian, known as the father of white revolution, he was instrumental in transforming the India's dairy industry. He launched the Operation Flood in 1970 and it was the world's largest dairy development program. This white revolution have increased the milk production and it augmented the rural income and provided fair prices for the both consumers and also for the farmers. So this has empowered many women and farmers in India. So this white revolution elevated India from a milk deficient nation to the world's largest milk producer. The most important aspect of this white revolution is creation of cooperative movements. So cooperative societies have been created during this white revolution and it has empowered millions of rural dairy farmers. Let us also learn about the National Milk Day, which is celebrated every year on November 26. And this November 26 is celebrated as National Milk Day because it marks the birth anniversary of Dr. Varghese Kurian, who is the father of India's white revolution. And this is organized by Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairy. This Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairy functions under Ministry of Fisheries. Here we should also know about the National Dairy Development Board. The National Dairy Development Board is the statutory body and it was declared as an institute of national importance by National Dairy Development Board Act of 1987. The primary objective of this board is to promote finance and support the producer-owned and controlled organizations in the dairy sector. So this Dairy Development Board functions under the Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairy. So these are some of the important facts regarding the milk production in India, milk industries in India, and about the white revolution. So with this, let us conclude the discussion. With this, we have come to the end of the discussion. If you like the video, please share it with your friends and don't forget to subscribe to Shankar IAS Academy YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.